Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another DC review, and in this DC review I will be covering Chip Zdarsky's issue 145 of Batman, Dan Jurgens' Batman First Night, Book 1, and also Blue Beetle, issue 7 by Trujillo. So I now get things organized for the first one that I'll be reviewing. Now, I just want to point out with this Batman issue, I will not be covering the backstory, just the main story. So, moving into first things first, does this cover in any way, shape, or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Sure enough, it does, to which we do actually get to see Bruce sort of like dressed up like a type of Hush character in this. So now it's time to move into the area of the the cover rating is 7.5 out of 10. I'll now move into the area of the internal art, to which we have a look around the beginning, middle, and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we catch up with Bruce Wayne and the Joker in the prison, to which Failsafe has practically put them in, and we also sort of learn that maybe this prison might actually be somewhere connected to the Batcave. As you see it move here to here. So next thing I'll do now is move to the area of the middle. So as we start to draw towards the middle of the story, we end up seeing Failsafe catching up with Damian Wayne, and I guess in a way trying to manipulate him to his cause. But will Damian fall for it or not? Seeing that he points out for him to prove it, it's very possible that Damian is very cautious at this time. And of course, last but not least, towards the end, to which we get to see a little bit more having to do with David being the doctor involved in this particular case. For the internal art, I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story writing or the storytelling. First things first, considering how far we are with issues, being issue 145, were we given any comic book references to any of the previous comics that might be important to this story? No, we weren't. Next is the area of time. None of that was mentioned at all. The location where this is all taking place in is, of course, Gotham. We, of course, move into the last thing, being the cast of characters, being Bruce Wayne, Batman, the Joker. We had David. We also had some other characters such as Red Hood, Oracle, Failsafe / Zeroner, Orphan, Damian Wayne Robin, Red Hood, Red Robin, of course Nightwing, and I think it's Samuel something. But for the overall story rating in this, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into Dan Jurgens' story, Batman First Night, Book 1. So as we move into Book 1 of Batman First Night, does this cover in any way, shape, or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Sure enough, it does, to which I give it an 8 out of 10. So good job is in the execution of this particular cover, as it also works with everything that is also happening inside with the story. It's now time to move into the area of the beginning, middle, and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we move directly into Gotham, and there's definitely quite a bit of activity as to some of the things that have been happening in Gotham, and we also have some of the police officers working on doing what they can. As we start to move towards the middle of the book, we end up catching up with some of the other characters that are making an appearance. one being the appearance of what looks to be a villain of our villain in the series. Now, I'll cover a little bit more before we go towards the end, and this is one of our appearances to which we get to see Batman in his bat suit as he goes up against one of the villains. And last but not least, towards the end, to which we also get to see Batman once again putting his detective skills to work, as well as encountering some of the people who would, I guess, in some essence, be his allies, but also taking on his enemies. For the internal art, I actually admit I did quite like it, to which I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the area of the story. First things first, seeing that this has no need for comic references, the 3 areas that will be covered will be time, location, and of course the cast of characters. For first the area of time, we have the years of 1938 and 1939, so we understand that this story is sort of like taking place, I guess, within a year of, or in the time of 1938 through to 1939. Whether it goes into 1940 or not, I'm not too sure. I guess we'll probably find out that with the next issue or the next volume or the next book. The location we have is Gotham, but we also have Blackgate and also one of the synagogues, to which we end up seeing in Gotham. And I wouldn't be surprised if, with the synagogue that he's brought into this, that he might introduce the character of Kate Kane's father. And whether he does or not, it doesn't really matter. Or not just Kate Kane's father, but maybe even his cousin Kate Kane. To which it would, I guess, prove more interesting, but before she becomes Batwoman. Or not Batwoman, yeah, it would be Batwoman. Next is the cast of characters. We have Bruce Wayne Batman, we have Gordon, we have Dubois, Jacob, Cohen, who he meets at the synagogue and also helps him out. And last but not least, we have the character known as Tilly. It's now time to move into the next... Oh, hold on. There's just one more thing I need to cover, and that is the story rating, to which I give the story rating a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into Blue Beetle issue 7. So, as we move into issue 7 of Blue Beetle, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside of the story? Somewhat, to which I give the cover a rating of 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the area of the internal art, as we have a look around the beginning, middle, and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So, as we move into the area of the beginning of the art, we have Jaime Reyes meeting up with Booster Gold, which Booster Gold actually gives a bit of a background or information about Ted Kord. And we get a little bit of information as we learn about Ted Kord in this, I guess, the DC Infinity Universe, Infinite Frontier Universe. As we start to move towards the end, we get to learn a little bit more about more of their shenanigans that have happened with them, including taking on Lobo. And last but not least, we move into the area of the present, to which we meet up with one of the other Scarabs. So, for the internal art, I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the area of the story. So first things first, do we get anything addressing the area of time? We do, being the present. Next is the area of the locations, to which we get to see the Justice League International Embassy, and I think it's called Dynera City, to which is addressed in the present. The cast of characters consisting of Booster Gold, Jaime Reyes, Blue Scarab, No, I'm not calling him Blue Beetle, but he can stick with Blue Scarab. So if you don't like that, DC, go fix the character. Of course, we have one of the earlier Blue Beetles, being Ted Kord. Next is the Blood Scarab. We have Maxwell Lord. We have a character by the name of Grant, I think it is, and a couple of other characters, Natita, who is also the Green Beetle or Green Scarab. For the overall story rating in this, I give it a 6.5 out of 10, as I felt that this story was a little bit rushed and it was a little bit hard to follow in some places. Apart from that, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.